Hello, this is Perry Peacock with Wilderness Innovation. Just doing a review on a demonstration that I did on our new little small. This is a setup that can be done with the small tarp or the standard PST as well. We call this the single willow setup. It only takes one willow to support it. So let me show you how this is done. First of all, for the small tarp, this birch willow that I found works very nicely to work out for this kind of setup. So basically, you just want to trim any little twigs and stuff off of it to give it kind of a smooth surface and everything. And I chose one about 2 feet longer than the tarp is. So the small tarp size is 5 by 5. So it's 7 feet diagonal, so I chose a 9-foot willow. Now, what I'm doing here now is in this ground here, I just need to, I don't really have a way to drive the willow into the ground, so I just cut a little bit bigger piece and I drive it in with my hatchet. And so I'm pre-forming a hole there that I can drop the willow in to support the tarp. So I just kind of hollow it out just a little bit, and then we just slide the willow down into that hole. And this has got this area right here has a lot of gravel in it, so it doesn't take a whole lot to support it. And you just kind of do it based on wherever you're at, whatever works good to hold it. And you see now that it's in there, it gives a lot of springiness, and so the willow support gives us the springiness and the adjustment. And you can kind of see the angle that I've got it set at there, which seems to work pretty good. Alright, so the regular, or this version of the tarp, the small version, is 5 by 5, so it's 7 feet on the diagonal. It does come with everything that the larger tarps have, just appropriate quantity. 4 tent stakes, 3 hanks of parachute cord, and 2 shock cords, and it comes in a Cordura bag. And we just unroll this. There's the shock cord there. That can be handy. We use that. I'm going to use that to tie down actually the lower end here. And so we just unroll the tarp and shake it all out and get ready to set it up here. And I'll show you something that I'm looking for as far as when I set this thing up here in just a moment here. Now the tarp does have 2 tie outs on the top side of the tarp, and so I'm just locating those here now. So there's the one diagonal one, and here's the one at the center. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually, the willow that I'm using is a small enough diameter that I can actually slide it through the tabs. Otherwise, if it's a little bit bigger, and sometimes you may need it for the regular size tarp if you're using that, or if your willow is too big to slide through there, then in that case just tie it off with some cord. And right here, this willow's just small enough I can slide it on down there. I didn't put the loop on the very left-hand corner on your screen through it because at the fat end of the stick down near the ground, it's a little. I thought I was going to get a little too fat maybe to go through there properly. So, and you see I'm having to work it just a little bit here, but it works pretty nicely. I mean, as you can see, it's pretty slick. It's easy to do. So there's the tarp all strung up here on the willow, and at the upper edge there's a little bit of a knot where a little twig was cut off. So I just hooked that end up there, and that's what holds it on. So it's very, very slick, very easy to do in this way, and wouldn't be that much harder if you had to tie it off, if you had a little bit bigger willow. But you see the willow with its springiness is what's going to aid us in setting this thing up. Now that I've got it fastened on the willow, the next thing is to anchor the 2 corners down. I anchored the one corner to a piece of dead driftwood log in the creek, and this other end I'm tying off here with a and running over to a stake that I've driven in the ground over here. As you can see, I'm getting, probably see the little ripples in the water there. It's raining off and on me here as I'm doing this setup, and that's the reason I had put this thing together, so I could kind of sit down, relax, have a little bite to eat and everything, and not get rained on like I was kind of doing off and on all day long here. So I just tie this off to the tent stake with a taut line, and now notice as I pull that tight, notice how the willow pulls downwardly. So the more I pull taut on the sides, I can actually spread the side out and make it wider, and at the same time it pulls it down, makes it lower. So that's how I can easily adjust my height and my width, is by how I pull the lines on the side. Now originally I tied off to a stub on this log, and I didn't like how that was sitting up a little higher than I wanted, so I just drove the tent stake into the driftwood to a more solid portion of it, and then just tie my line off down here to the tent stake with a couple half hitches, like a slippery half, and then I've got a taut line on the end that's going through the tarp, so I can easily adjust the tension on that up there, and get this thing just how I want it. Now, I've got a little higher here, pitched in the front of it. If I wanted to, if it was a little more stormy, or depending on how things were going, I could pull that down and make it a little bit lower and give myself a little more protection. So, it's very adjustable. That's one of the cool things, is the willow provides the tension all the time, so you don't have to worry about there's the water droplets beating up on the DWR finish on the tarp there. But anyway, yeah. So it's very adjustable with the willow there. So just tightening the corners adjusts your shelter. So it's very simple to keep track of. You see the multicam's hardly visible looking down the stream here, just 100 feet or so away. Now here I've pulled this coyote colored one down a little bit lower, and just to kind of show you, if I guy it out, pull it down a little lower, it spreads it out more, which gives more overhead coverage on me. Now, if you use the regular PST, that's 7x7, 10 feet diagonal. That's more than sufficient to do this setup for you. So, this is kind of the extreme situation, but it's nice. It's, this is a very light setup, very small profile to pack in your pack. So, it works really nicely that way, and it's very doable. So this is Perry Peacock with Wilderness Innovation, showing you the one willow setup with our small tarp. It works just as well with the regular size tarp. I'm down here by the creek. I've got a little stove going underneath the multicam tarp here by the creek, and getting ready to have me a little lunch. You guys all have a great day and enjoy the outdoors. Once again, Perry Peacock, Wilderness Innovation.